Good evening, YouTube. This is Mail Away George Page coming to you live on YouTube. As you know, I am the emperor of bodybuilding talk, and anytime something happens in the world of bodybuilding, I have to talk about it. It must be talked about and must be recognized. As you know, if you pay attention to what's going on, we had a death that happened in the sport. A former competitor has passed away, and she was in this division of figure. And I'm starting to become getting into figure a bit. If figure started off, she was a fitness competitor, and fitness fitness and also figure has grown into its division as it was. The early days was more almost like the start of CrossFit back in the early 90s until what it's evolved to what is now today. But I saw this on Facebook. One of my Facebook friends posted it, and it was happening yesterday, and I had to talk about it. Now, if I'm really quick, and the news it's kind of somber news, it's sad news that it's from the family of Lynn-Powell, and just from family and friends, and that it's that the deep and sorrow that is informing you that Jenny's passing last night. Jenny suffered a seizure while sleeping. Her husband Ricky made every effort to save her life, but was unsuccessful. God had other plans. And if you know anything about Miss Jenny Lynn-Powell, she was originally born in Kentucky, and she was a competitive fitness and figure competitor. Now, she competed in many shows. She had titles from the Olympia and also Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. She was a two-time Olympia champion and a three-time Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic champion. And she had multiple other championships and titles during her career. And she started a good part of the early 2000s, and she competed to about to the mid 2000s. Her last competition was in 2009. And she was up there with some ladies that you might recognize here. I think that's Monica Brett right here. I think Monica Brett passed away some time ago, and some other ladies that were well known in the division. And she was very popular, in the sport. Very recognizable. She did a few covers on such magazines as Flex, Iron Man, Muscle Development. I think Muscle and Fitness. She was a cover model. And like I said, she had, done a lot of other modeling and stuff like that. And she had a look to her style. And she had a good career in the sport of bodybuilding. And even outside of the sport, And it's just sad news to hear of her passing. And it's sad to lose somebody, so young. At the time of her passing, she was only 49 years old. And she had a good career in the sport of bodybuilding, being a competitor, being a model, being a representative of the sport. And she did a lot during that time of 49 years of her life. She started off as a cheerleader, and then she transitioned to the sport of bodybuilding, getting into fitness. And you remember when fitness started off, it was more like CrossFit in the early days, but then they kind of trimmed down some of the stuff, And she was one of those pioneers of the sport, And, she was married to her husband, Rick, for a good, they were married since 2018. And, they were I think, a loving couple from the pictures I've seen. And she was a good friend, a good competitor, a teacher. And, it's just sad to hear her passing. I don't know much about her. As you know, I don't follow, I've been more of a bodybuilding fan most of my life, but as I'm growing and evolving as an emperor of bodybuilding talk, I'm starting to learn more about the other divisions, even the past competitors. She was a loving aunt also, and and I think her family loved her. She had a sister, and she did other stuff outside of the sport. She was a mentor and a teacher and a director, and she was a loving daughter, friend, wife, sister, aunt, and I think a lot of people are going to miss her. And the death is shocking and shockwaves to the sport. And you wouldn't think somebody 49 years old would die so young. But as you know, it happens quite often. There's been several women who have passed away because of seizures, of heart conditions. I mean, this sport can really put a toll on the body. You would think this, especially a sport where it's about health and fitness, but there are some side effects to it. And we're not going to go into the other thing, because right now we're going to remember the woman who she was and what she did. This was a beautiful young woman, a wife, a daughter, an aunt, a sister, and she passed away. And that's all that matters. Anything else is not that important. So, like I said, to one Miss Jenny Lynn-Powell, rest in peace. You're in a better place. I know your family, friends would rather have you here on earth. And, I can understand that, when you love somebody, we wish they were here, but that's us being selfish. When death comes and gets you, there's nothing you can do about it. But if you could, you would do all you can for them to stay here. I did that same way. Wish my mother could stay here with me. But you know what? When death comes and gets you, there's nothing you can do about it. And it's your time. God has your number, and when He wants you, He'll call for you to come home. So rest in power, Miss Jenny Lynn-Powell. You're in a better place, and maybe someday we'll get to see you again. Those that love you, those that respect you, and those that honor you. This is me, Always Yours page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. I'm out. Rest in peace, Jenny Lynn.